Hello, friend. I hope you had a truly wonderful Thanksgiving and a good time, no matter what you had going on, whether you're traveling and maybe you're now home, you're like, oh, I can finally breathe. But I think we can officially say, no matter where you stand on the end of the spectrum about when we can start celebrating Christmas, I think that we can all agree that about now, or maybe you're a December 1st purist, that's okay. But I think we can officially say we are here at the Christmas season. So, Merry Christmas. I wanted to put a quick little bug in your ear before we dive into today's episode, which I'm going to tell you right now, it's just something that's been stirring in my heart for a while. And I really wanted to share a bit about this and share about my own personal journey. But I wanted to remind you that this is the last day of the Black Friday sale for Clarify Your Homeschool. You can get 30% off until midnight tonight, Monday, November 27th, Eastern Standard Time. Use the coupon code Black Friday 2023 to get 30% off. There are only hours left of this sale, and I don't want you to miss out on it. You can head to clarifyyourhomeschool.com in order to get started right now. But Clarify Your Homeschool is where you are going to discover and create your unique homeschool. Let's stop guessing. We're going to take out all the guessing of how you should do it, and let's even take out the second guessing of what you have done and your decisions you have made. No more procrastinating, okay there, Mom? Stop saying that I'm just going to wing it or I'm just going to kind of see how it pans out, and you have this unsettled feeling in your heart that you aren't being intentional. Your future self thanks you for your intentionality right now when it comes to your homeschool, because your intentionality this year will carry on to next year, carry on to the next year and the following year, and you'll soon be where I am at, a dozen years into homeschooling. And I can look back and say, yes, it was worth it. It was worth taking the time to sit down and really be intentional about what are we looking to do here? And also, what does that look like for my family? And that's what we're going to do in Clarify Your Homeschool. So be sure to get that 30% off until midnight tonight, Eastern Standard Time with Black Friday 2023 at clarifyyourhomeschool.com. Now, today's episode is not specifically about homeschool, but I know that you are a woman who enjoys making her home, and that is also a part of the homeschool lifestyle. And so we're going to talk specifically about decorating when it comes to Christmas and our homes, and what to do when we start to think about other people's homes and their decor and how they do it is better than yours. And so we're going to tackle what I'm going to call the green-eyed monster of jealousy. Welcome to the Little by Little Homeschool Podcast, where you can get out of survival mode, feel confident in your homeschool decisions, and gain peace in your heart and home. I know that when we plant our feet firmly in this season of life and embrace our homeschooling, motherhood, and homemaking, we will thrive. I truly believe that we can do this from a place of peace and joy, all while growing a ton of contentment. And while we're at it, Mama, let's deepen those relationships with our children and love these years we get to pour into them. If you're ready to create beauty, seek simplicity, and live intentionally, homeschool mama, then close out that lesson book, let the kids go play, and let's have an authentic conversation. I guess I'm going to say some things that, are really going to make you be introspective. That's my heart and my desire behind it, to get you to stop and to think a little bit and to analyze are these some traps that you're falling into, and then I'm going to share with you how to get out of that. The funny thing about social media is that it makes things like decorating our home, and when we do that for Christmas, a bit of it will say, quote unquote, controversy. I never cared before social media when somebody decorated. If they want to decorate before Thanksgiving, that's just who they are, and that's just what they did. But I just think it's kind of funny that right now it's just, it seems to be such a controversy. So whether you're decorated or not, it doesn't matter. I actually, to be honest, I will be digging out my stuff this week. I need to have my house decorated by next week. I have a gathering at my home, and it is a Christmas gathering. So kind of would be a good thing to have all of our Christmas decorations out, which means we also have to get a Christmas tree. But today we're going to talk about how to recognize when you are faced with some jealousy and possibly discontentment, and how to shift those feelings. So I mentioned a little bit here about myself, but I want to tell you just a little bit about my journey when it comes to this. When I first got married 23 years ago and began decorating our first apartment and our townhouse, we lived in multiple homes. I never really thought anything about what anybody else did for Christmas. Everybody had their own Christmas trees and their own traditions for that and their own decorations. I'd go to their house and I'd be like, oh, These are her Christmas decorations. Go to another friend's house. These are her Christmas decorations. Never necessarily thought about it. Anything that I purchased at stores or at craft shows, there's a lot of those this time of the year, was purely stuff that I just wanted for myself. Then entered social media, probably a little less than 10 years ago. I mean, I was on social media maybe before that. However, when I began an Instagram account and began blogging, that's when I began to find other women that enjoyed creating a space in their home and decorating and DIY and everything that falls under that category. And I really had a struggle for quite a few years with feeling discontent and jealous over what other bloggers had. And most of it was like, wow, look at all that stuff she has. That's completely out of my budget. And being jealous that my home didn't quite look like their home. And again, I'm looking at it just from the outside in and not necessarily from the inside. Who knows what else is going on? And I'm not saying that anything behind the scenes is going on any of these large Instagram accounts or bloggers or anything like that. But I just really had a struggle for a while. And I'm going to share some of the steps that I use in order to get out of that. And also what I still use in order to stay out of that feeling of jealousy of others and how they can decorate their home and maybe possibly the fact that they have 5 different Christmas trees in their house and I only, quote unquote, only have one. That's okay. I've gotten to the other side and I'm excited for you to do that as well. And at this point, I can now go back and I can watch people's stories and their videos, maybe YouTube videos, and read their blogs and look at everything that they have and use it purely as inspiration. And I want you to be able to get to that point as well. Because honestly, I don't think that any of those women that are behind those accounts, I don't think their heart is to make you jealous. They're probably excited to be able to share and maybe a little proud, hopefully not in a bad way, of, what they have accomplished in their home and what they have decorated and how they can inspire you. So I like to look at it from an altruistic perspective and just assume that they are there also for inspiration. They're enjoying decorating and they are having fun. And therefore, they're hoping that I am enjoying having fun as well. Let's first start this talking about some of the signs that you might notice in your life that is going to point to the fact that you are feeling jealous about how someone else can decorate their home for Christmas and how it's just not possible for you right now in this season. So some of the signs is you just feeling not happy with your home. You're thinking to yourself, it's not good enough. Maybe this has to do with your home completely, with just the basics of it. Maybe it's the layout. No matter what it is, you're just not happy and not content with it. You're thinking to yourself, it's not good enough. It's not like so-and-so's house. It doesn't look like that. It doesn't feel like that. And another sign is that you are looking at others and you're thinking to yourself, wow, she's really lucky. Her husband did XYZ, or he's very handy and he could build that. Or her kids are so perfect and they're always dressed so nice and they don't destroy, she doesn't have a baby in the house that's pulling down all the decorations from the Christmas tree. And so it's looking at others and thinking about how lucky they are. Maybe it's, wow, how lucky is she because she has a much bigger budget for Christmas decorating than I do. Another sign of jealousy is you having a loss of joy and a loss of wonder of your home at Christmas, especially in the evening when you turn the lights down and maybe you just have the Christmas lights on and maybe there's some candles, whether they're real or faux candles, and maybe have some nice Christmas music playing and you don't have joy or you just don't have wonder in just the beauty of the simpleness and just the peacefulness of that. That can be a sure sign that you have some type of jealousy when it comes to others in their homes and at Christmas. So let's talk into now how to shift these feelings. I have six different points here to make, 6 different steps possibly. They're kinds of steps you can kind of jump around, but the number one step is like, it's definitely a step and the rest can kind of follow suit there. So the first way that you can help to shift your feelings of jealousy of others and their Christmas decorations and the way that their home looks at Christmas is to recognize and acknowledge these feelings. You just have to do it even to yourself. If you want to share this then with your husband or with a friend, you can. But at least in your own heart, in your own mind, recognize this. Don't put off that feeling. You have that icky feeling. You have that negative feeling within you and you're just ignoring it. recognize it, acknowledge it, possibly even say it out loud. I am jealous of, you can even maybe name the person, home at Christmas, or I am feeling discontent in my home with the abilities that I have, or with the budget that I have, or with the time that I have. Recognize it and acknowledge it. Call it out. Call yourself out. And every single time that your thoughts start to stray, call yourself out. Say, no, that's not what I'm going to think. As you are trimming the Christmas tree, as you're putting decorations on it, don't be thinking, oh, I wish I had all perfectly curated ornaments. Instead, I have all of these janky ornaments that my kids have made. They're falling apart. We've got this Santa Claus and his head is like half falling off. Instead of feeling discontent that you didn't buy all new ornaments this year and decorate it perfectly in a theme, call yourself out and say, no, this is what I have. This is the blessing I have. This is the tradition that we have started where we add homemade or recently purchased Christmas ornaments that mean something to the kids. This is what we do. Good for her. It's just not good for me right now. And so when your thoughts start to stray, call yourself out. The second way to shift these feelings is to decide that this year, right now, you are only going to use the decorations that you have. There's an Instagram reel that has been going around, and I guess it's just a voice audio, and different women have used the voice audio. And it has to do with the budget that their husband has given them, or that they have decided together, I guess, for their Christmas decorations. And I kind of laugh a little bit because I don't have any budget for Christmas decorations every single year. I just use what I have. And maybe if there's a little bit that I have kind of set aside, or maybe I'll use some of our overall Christmas budget to maybe purchase a new wreath for the front door because the one that I've been using is falling apart. That's okay. But I just kind of laugh. So I don't know if you've seen that Instagram reel going around, but I don't really relate to it. I mean, I think it's a little bit kind of funny. If it's not something that you relate to, that's okay. It doesn't mean just because there's an Instagram reel going around saying that they're having a hard time staying in their Christmas decoration budget for that year, it doesn't mean that everybody is in that same boat. So don't make that assumption. So I want you to challenge yourself, because challenges make us stronger. Challenge yourself and decide, this year, I am only going to use the Christmas decorations that I have. Number 3, I want to say here is that don't use something that you have if you don't like it anymore. Just leave it in the boxes. I know that sounds like a crazy thought. I started doing this a few years ago and only took out what I really wanted. I probably had about 8 to 10 bins full of decorations. And I was like, I don't really like this anymore. It's just I'm not drawn to it. I was at one point, and that's okay for me to change my style or to change my taste. That's okay to do. And so I started just leaving it in the bin and then packing it back up for the month of December and then hauling it back out in January. And so this is where I want to mention to you that if you decide to do that this year, and I highly recommend doing it, only use what you like, keep in the bins whatever it is you don't like, and then go ahead and pack it up. Maybe at the end of the season you decide, I don't think I'm ever going to use this again. Take it out of the bins, do not pack it back up. Or maybe just say, I'm not quite sure. Let me see how I feel next year. That's okay. That's perfectly fine to do. That's what I did. And I just packed everything up that I used and everything I didn't use, put it away. The next Christmas came and pulled everything out. And I was like, I'm just going to use what I like, what I want. And I found that there were many things that I did not use the previous year and that I had no plans on using that year. And do you know what I did? I packed it up in another box and I brought it to the thrift store. And possibly, and this is where I'm hopeful, somebody found it at the thrift store, purchased it, and was thrilled and excited to be able to add it to their Christmas decorations for the year. Number 4, if you are going to purchase anything, I want you to only purchase what you really, really like. Maybe it's something that is trendy, or maybe it's something that's not trendy. But these trends, I talked to my boys recently about this, and people just jumping onto trends. And maybe there's a certain type of boot that's really popular and really trendy one winter, and everybody buys it. And then come the next winter, you're like, well, it's not trendy, but do you like it? Then go ahead and buy it and continue to wear it. I continue to wear boots until they're definitely not meant to be worn anymore. But only purchase what you really like. If it's trendy, great. If it's not trendy, that's okay. And if it is trendy, it's okay for you to use it a few years in a row. That's okay. I know that trendy things you're supposed to just get something new the next year. You don't have to. So an example of this is probably about maybe 6, 7 years ago, I found at Walmart after Christmas a whole box full of bottle tree brush. I found a whole box of bottle brush trees on a huge sale. I think they might have been 25 cents each. And I purchased a lot of them because I just really liked it. I was like, these are really fun. And so I purchased it after Christmas, put it with my Christmas decorations, and the next year I pulled it out, and I was so excited to be able to find those. And I have used those every single year. Come to find out, in the past couple years, those have become popular or quote unquote trendy. And I'm still using them. So I guess maybe I'm possibly on trend. Maybe I don't even know if they still are. To be honest, I don't know. I have seen them still at some of the stores. So maybe there's something that will stick around for a while, but it doesn't matter to me. I like the brush trees. Is that bottle brush trees? Yes. I really like those. And so I'll continue to use them for as long as I like them and pick up maybe a couple more every single year. And eventually maybe I won't like them, but they're actually a really, really low cost. But only purchase things that you really like. And if you only use it one year, that's okay. Hopefully it didn't cost you too much. Number 5 is if you are finding yourself feeling jealous and you just have a negative attitude about how your home looks at Christmas, I want you to turn off the negative influences for right now. It doesn't mean, like I mentioned earlier, it does not mean that that woman on that social media account or that blog is trying to make you feel bad. That is not her intention at all. But it is causing you to feel discontent. Maybe it's just something on social media. Maybe you can just kind of mute or unfollow and then go back when you are feeling like, okay, I'm ready to see what she has to offer right now because my heart is in a better place. So turn off the negative influences, whatever it is that maybe is causing you to feel bad and to not have contentment and not be happy with your home. Remember, that was one of the signs of jealousy that I mentioned earlier. And the last thing I want to mention here, number 6, is to speak thankfulness over yourself and your home. I really hope that you do spend time in the Bible and reading, and God will point out verses, and maybe those are verses you need to write down and continue to repeat. Maybe you need to hang them on your mirror, or maybe you need to put it next to your Christmas tree so that when you see it, you will speak thankfulness. But it's just the process of not even just thinking it and meditating on it, but it's actually the process of speaking those words out loud that really give them life. So speak thankfulness over yourself and speak thankfulness over your home and the gifts that God has given you. Because when we really focus on what we're thankful for, we can see all of the many blessings that we have. Instead of focusing on what we don't have, we can focus on what we do have. And I can guarantee that your home is perfect and you are creating a special environment to be able to point to the birth of our Savior this month and as we get closer to Christmas Day. The point is not to have a home that is going to be on the front cover of a magazine. And if yours has, that's wonderful. You've been able to inspire others, but that's not necessarily the point that you're probably going for. What you are looking for is creating an environment where your kids can feel that joy and wonder, and I hope that you can as well, but also that you can point to really what is the reason behind all of these traditions and create in your home a place that draws your family closer together physically, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. And I hope that these couple of shifts in your feelings are where you can definitely do that as well, and you can experience the joy and wonder of this beautiful Christmas season that we are now entering. And before we close out this episode and we dive deeper into some more Christmas episodes coming up, I want to give you one last reminder for Clarify Your Homeschool to receive 30% off. It's only going to last until tonight, midnight Eastern Standard Time. So there's only a few hours left. Go to clarifyyourhomeschool.com, use coupon code Black Friday 2023, and begin your journey of discovering and creating the homeschool lifestyle that is going to be perfect for your family, is going to serve your family right now, right here in this season, and also to be able to make those decisions as you go forth to the further years, because I want you to homeschool long term. And that is my goal behind Clarify Your Homeschool, is not just to get you set up, but to set you up for all the years ahead that you have for homeschooling your amazing children. Friend, I'm excited to see you over at Clarify Your Homeschool. Have a blessed day. If this podcast has encouraged you, the number one way you can thank me is to leave a written review on Apple Podcasts. I love to hear how this show has impacted you. So if you could hop over and do that, I'd be so grateful. While you're at it, take a screenshot of this episode and share it with your friends to encourage them. You can also find me over on Instagram at Little by Little Homeschool. Until next time, have a beautiful day, Mama.